Hornady Critical Defense 22 Magnum versus 38 Special. And you know, a lot of people have the idea that 22 Magnum is just as good as 38 Special, and I kind of want to put that to the test with some bullet technology that's pretty similar. Now, interesting thing about 22 Magnum versus 38 Special, if we look at the 45 grain bullet versus our 110 grain 38 Special, we have almost exactly the same sectional density. So what that basically means is that the 22 Magnum is a scaled down version of the 38 Special. So theoretically, if we could get the same velocity, we could get the same penetration. But you know, a lot comes into play, like a bullet expansion and stuff like that. So we have our 2-inch barrel. It says 2-inch on the box, but it's actually 2.68-inch barrel. Heritage barkeep here, and our 2-inch barrel Taurus 605 to test our 38 Special in. So this is actually a standard pressure. I know a lot of people like to see that. This stuff is rated at, looks like 10 feet per second for our 38 Special. Our 22 Magnum, this says it's rated at 1,000 feet per second. So only a difference of about 10 feet per second in our rating. However, that's probably through a 4-inch barrel. So we'll probably actually get faster velocity with our 22 mag, which might kind of even things out a little bit here. So I'm gonna go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy I get at the same time. Then I'm gonna do my 10% clear ballistic test. We have our 4 layers of heavy denim, followed by 3 inches of clear ballistics to represent hitting a pectoral muscle, followed by a 1/4 inch MDF to represent hitting ribs of sternum. And more clear ballistics, we'll do a shot with this to represent our chest shot. We'll pull it out and do a shot with it without it to represent like hitting a gut shot. Then I'll fire up my full-size steel silhouette and see what kind of practical accuracy we can get. And we'll see how 22 mag really compares to 38 Special with about the same bullet technology. So let's get started with this test. All right, I'm about 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph. First up, we have our 38 Special rated at 10 feet per second, probably through a 4-inch barrel. Well, let's see what we get with our standard pressure here. See how close we get to that. 829. No read. Read. For some reason that's not reading. I guess I'm going to back it up a little bit and try a few more, because sometimes that affects it being a little bit too close to the chronograph. All right, I'm back from about 7 yards. See how this does. No read. 793. So I think it's just there's a little bit of flash and smoke that it's not really visible on camera, that kind of obscures that. So 22 Magnum rated at 1,000 feet per second from a 2-inch barrel. Let's see what we get with this. 974. No read. 945. 949. No read. No read. So it's one of those days where the lighting condition is a little bit odd out here, because I'll run that chronograph for like 12 videos in a row and not have a single error, and then once I get one error in a weird lighting condition, my comment section lights up. This is what you need to do. But anyways, we can see that we're a little bit faster with our 22 Magnum, so that might make it a little bit better in a sense for possible bullet expansion and penetration, since the sectional density is about the same. However, the momentum of the 38 might carry it through a little bit more. So you know, you got more momentum because the bullet's heavier. So let's hit our ballistics gel block and see what we get with these. All right, 38 Special through our MDF. See how this does. Try our gut shot now. I was kind of smiling because this bullet was hanging out the side of the block. I could still see the penetration, so that's fine. But let's try our quote-unquote gut shot with our 38. See how this does. All right, let's go take a look. So we stopped right here with our MDF at about 13 1/4 inches. No expansion there. Now it looks like with our straight clear ballistic shot, we actually got a penetration that's pretty good here. We're looking at about 16.5 inches. From my view here, it does look like we have some expansion, even going through that heavy denim. So probably what happened here is once it starts to hit the MDF, it might try to curve a little bit, or it could just be sporadic that this one just didn't happen to expand. It had a lower velocity. So take it for what it is. Let's try our 22 mag now, see how that does. All right, 22 Magnum through our 1/4 inch MDF. Let's see how this will do. Try our gut shot now. All right, no MDF, just our gut shot. See how it does. Let's go take a look. I just barely missed that path there, and what we're seeing here is we're seeing that that bullet is sideways, no expansion, and when we look at this we can kind of see why. That bullet's hitting that MDF like that. You know, it's not going to necessarily hit the MDF and then turn. Generally when I see an oblong hole like that, it means that it went in that way. So it's like maybe 45 grains is a little bit heavy for this particular revolver, but seeing that isn't necessarily bad. I mean, we have not enough penetration, but it generally means it causes more damage. So with that shot, we're actually looking at about 9 3/4. But when we look at our straight clear ballistic shot though, we're looking at an acceptable penetration of about 12.5 inches. So generally what you're going to see here is maybe if it hit a ribs or sternum or something, it's not going to be enough penetration, but if it's scooted between ribs, probably enough penetration. That's just my overall, you know, amateur view on that. So interesting results. The 38s did seem to do a little bit better. That momentum seemed to help it out a little bit, as well as its energy. So let's shoot from a little distance and see how these do. All right, 40 yards from the target. Let's see how our 38 special snub will do, if I can even hit from 40 yards. See what we get. All right, that one shot there, it's got that Taurus trigger phenomenon where the skin of my finger hooks behind the trigger because the clearance between the back of the trigger and the frame is way too close. Basically, I get around, I have to move my finger over to a position that's not as good for me. So let's see what I can do. Alright, they grew pretty good at that distance, just offhand. 22 Magnum. Let's see if I can hit with this. Alright, so that last shot I finally decided to attempt to aim a little bit differently. I aimed off the target to the right, so they're hitting significantly to the left at that distance for me. So could just be the gun, it could be the ammo, I really don't know. But I'm gonna load some more here, which would be kind of a chore to do in a self-defense situation, but it might do faster if you had a separate cylinder, something like that. There's our 22 mag again. This time I'm going to aim off the target to the right. See if I can make more hits. So I was aiming probably about 16 inches off center to the right. So about maybe 6-8 inches off the target to the right. And I actually had somebody on one of these videos with my other Rough Rider saying, you should sight your gun on before you do your videos, pal. Okay, but anyways, interesting ammunition. Now I'm going to say, does the 22 mag really stack up as being called critical defense? It has the technology on it, but when we're talking about actual handguns, you know, it's just kind of a name in my opinion, because we're not really seeing any expansion. You know, it just doesn't have the power and the momentum to open that up. And this is a perfect example of what I've tried to explain to people a lot of times. I've had a lot of people saying, that's not going to expand, you don't have enough velocity with that. And I always come back with, well, it really has a lot to do more with energy and bullet design. Well, no, because your 38 special is only going 750 feet per second. And I come back with, how come I've shot like HSTs at 750 feet per second and they expand out? Why? Because you're getting about 400 foot-pounds of energy, or 350 or whatever. So it's a combination of velocity, of energy, of bullet design, and all of that. And what we're seeing here with the 22 Magnum, there's just not enough of any of that. We don't have enough energy to really pull that open. As for our 38 special, that did quite well because, generally when I test the plus P version on that, it always expands. What we're seeing with this is it sometimes expands, it sometimes doesn't. And it's doing pretty good for the velocity we're working with. Like that, a couple of those shots were right about 800 feet per second over the chronograph. And we got one with no MDF, and it expanded quite well. Very accurate round at 40 yards. So I'm going to say this 38 special round is an excellent round of ammunition, even for being a standard pressure. And a lot of people question, what's the best standard pressure? And sometimes I come back with maybe a lead one would be, but then you also have to deal with smoke, a lot of smoke that goes in the air. It might not be a good thing for low light situations. And I always kind of come back with the Chronograph Test Plus P is pretty good, but I think this for standard pressure is probably one of the better ones you can get. So overall, that's what you get today, 22 mag versus 38 special. I just don't think I'm ever going to find a 22 mag that's going to match a 38 special out of a handgun, and it's been a thing forever where everybody puts down 38 special. It's garbage. You might as well be carrying a 22 Magnum, etc., etc. But 38 special has been used for a long time very effectively, and you can see why. So that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.